Hello everybody! Welcome to something that isn't The Binding of Isaac. Playing Punch Club. It's a game by Lazy Bear Games. The Dark Fist is actually a free expansion that came out for it. Instead, it comes with the game. That's my guy that I use for things. To try and make sure to understand the game a little. That said, not very far into it at all. But we're going to start a new game. And I guess we're just going to go with Mael. It's really interesting. It's a management game, sort of like Game Dev Tycoon. But instead of there where you make a game, you're making a fighter out of yourself. And then we have some backstory as well. And like wonderful pixel art. It's a good thing we're playing this right after we played Loom, considering, because that also had some great pixel art, but this is like modern. Oh no. Not our dad. Suddenly we don't have... wasn't there two of them? I'm sure that is like irrelevant to the plot. Now we've got this guy, who I believe is named Frank. I don't know if we'll ever actually see him again. I know we get phone calls from him all the time. Now we're living in our house. Hey, the phone. Who could it be? Still not sure. I've seen some people do the talking for the game. I guess I'll do the tutorial. Hey, some job offers. I can't do that right now, though. I need to go work out in my garage. Here in my garage with my A-Team van and my 47 Lamborghinis. I guess instead, here's the Game Dev Tycoon thing. You doing stuff puts into points, but you also have to manage other things like eating and sleeping. Thankfully, we have some food. Part's a little hand-holdy, as you can tell by now. That newspaper is saying, hey, there's some work. There's also a cat. You can put it in the cat hole. I don't think it does anything, but who cares? It's a cat. Hey, we're just gonna go work, and we can either go there by bus, which costs us money, or go there by foot, which takes time and has a chance of us running into something here. I've actually noticed that these this one had a difference. One time I took this and I got a different set of moves, and when I started with this, I also had another set. I'm interested to see what happens if they just tell me to take my shoes, but we need to fight anyways. And here's the thing, it's not a regular fighting game. Not even what I'd consider a fighting game. Instead, what we have to do is the game kind of plays itself. Alright, it's not, well, it's kind of randomized. This is perfect, actually. I guess it is. Yes, your choices there don't really matter. All we have right now is punch and dodge. Or kick, rather. I'm already failing at this. And if you look at the stats and stuff, we're not gonna end. This isn't gonna end well at all. But let's try. And then the AI kind of does its own thing. Right now we're actually doing pretty good. This... Oh, no. Oh, no. It's all going wrong immediately. This is a little unfair to keep a bat, but... Got a few good hits in, though. And you can see it's got a wonderful, lovely stat thing. Look at that. We did so well. And then not so well. Obviously, I think we're supposed to lose that, unless there's a New Game Plus, in which case I'd love to see that go a horrible way. And then this guy's like, hey, you kind of sucked, but you got potential. And you have a chance here. You'd say, I've always had a great hook, and you get some punch and stuff. They used to call me legs, and you get kicks. I've always seen people do strength builds like the 3 attributes. So I've seen a lot of strength builds. I tried doing turtling, not a fan of it. It doesn't do well for, especially for like a thing. I've never seen kicks, and I've been reading Karate Shikoji, the Little Prince of Karate. I'll do some kicking stuff. He's telling me about my legs. It's a little creepy, old man. Anyways, we get a perk from that. And now we get to go visit Mick, who's in no way, shape, or form related to anyone. Same with Apu, even though he runs a store. Don't question these things. I mean, we probably should go to our job at some point, but I guess right now I can talk to Mick. Mick. It's like, hey, you still suck, but, you know, there's some places that you can get better, I suppose. Also, a wonderful arrangement of things around here. And in a kind of nice way, although we don't need it now, if you run out of money and you need energy to do stuff, you can come here and get food. It's not like, I'm sure there's some sort of min-maxing thing that you can do there, but instead of going to the gym, we need to do our job like we said we were going to do. This is one job we can do. A couple others run through progression. And this one is nice because it gets you a couple little stats. Because at the end of the day, your stats will degrade, so you have to keep training. I'm not a fan of that exactly, just because it feels like it degrades really fast. Nonetheless, stop there. Probably touch this guy. It's like, yeah, Mick recommended you, and he's silver, and this is his whole gym, so let's do this. And now we have a goal, and it's nice that it sets up like small goals. We should always spar with this guy because there's a chance we get upgrade points. I mean, right now we're gonna get smashed because we suck, but you can opt to spar with him or do training with him, and it gives you points that will feed into your skill tree that we'll get into maybe a little later. But so far we're okay. I mean, we're surviving, at least. He hasn't totally worn us down yet. The only thing I don't like about the random thing is that your guy occasionally just like, I know I should be doing something, but instead I'll just kind of like absolutely nothing. And it just feels like, you know, the random number generator is really on or against you in this. But every time, there's also the stamina meter, energy rather, too, because I believe this is called stamina. Don't want to confuse these things. To watch out for, because you could be in a fighter that just drains the stamina immediately and then gets knocked over very easily, and then you take damage, a lot of it. So, you know, there's a potential. We could knock him down, and that might like totally help us out. Yeah. It's not going to save us. Like, we're not going to win the fight, but it's a good thing that as soon as I said that, the game decided to say, hey, here's how that works. So, yeah, you can again see, you can also see this. I'm not entirely sure what. Oh, look. Second numbers. How? So, you know, our dodge was not great, but I believe that we eventually will have a skill that lets us see things like actual full stats on stuff. You can train in the gym. It costs $10 to get in there, and then we can use the machines as much as we want, but we'll run out of energy before anything. And then we can go sign up for a thing. It doesn't matter when you sign up for the fight. The next fight is always a kind of set amount of time later. And I would like to go to the gym, but I spent all of my energy working. So instead we're going to go meet Apu. Ask him about Mick's delivery, because he's still waiting for food. As well as actually buy food ourselves, which it seems like the meat is like the best thing to get. Honestly, I'm just going to get 4 of those. We might have worked a little too much, or at least like 1 too many times. which is fair. This is kind of a min-maxing thing about the game that I'm not good at, but it's still really interesting. And the music is great. The only thing that confuses me is that this whole setup, we always start here in the left hand, but going right is the outside world. And I think that, like, going here means that we go outside, because, I don't know, left has always been the out, but that goes to our garage, and you have to leave by hitting the menu thing here. That's a minor nitpick. The rest of the game is still great. I will probably get rid of the soda, because we don't really need the health. It's good, but it's not going to hurt us. Instead, what we need to be doing is getting out there and training. Let's go to the gym. Also really kind of a stickler about using our money to travel, which is probably, you know, time is probably more important than money, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm a stickler. And this stuff isn't really a fight. It's more of a, you do this and then you get some skill points. You can also spar with him and get the chance to, if you actually beat him, you can get more. But I think this is just our better shot right now, especially since we don't have anything. Now we have enough to unlock a thing. And normally you can get these stuff that you start out with. One time I started out with punches and block, but last time I only started out with punch and kick, and like no ability to dodge or block. But here's the really important one. Tactics Learner now gives us, when we hover over something, excuse me, it'll give us little stats that are helpful. Very brainy stats that I'm not going to overindulge in. Pay the enter fee. Now we go in here. If we're gonna do a kicks and like agility based thing, we probably want to focus. We'll have I think there's a skill book that comes a little later. It'll tell you, but it's this game. You're not supposed to try to get everything up at the same time, because you'll just end up getting nothing done. Instead, you want to specialize in one thing and make sure you get some points in the other stuff, so you're not totally behind. But if we're going for accuracy and kicks and stuff, we want some of this. But eventually, I don't think these actually are like less points. It's just telling you you can't do this one thing forever. Eventually he'll be like, I'm tired of this. So we just move on. This one, I believe it's an all 3 stat, but just kind of randomly. And one of our objectives was raise a stat to like 5, which is a bit much. But when is our next fight? I believe is tomorrow or something. It's going to tell us soon. What I've been told, or read rather, is that what you want to... We're going to run out of food before we can finish anything. That kind of sucks. What you want to do with what am I trying to say here? I'm not trying to say words, and who knew that I can't actually say words? With accuracy, you want stamina. Strength isn't as important. It's still good to have, but with a strength build, you want strength and stamina. And if the stamina builds, can't remember. We'll get a thing later. For now, rather than spending $10 again, I guess we'll kind of finish our day by doing training here. Which is a shame, because it's gonna exactly that. And our fight is today, but we can take it whenever we want. So it would probably be good for us to have this, like our stats right now is probably as good as it's gonna get. Dang it. Our health is really important. The mood isn't as important for a fight, and I don't think the food and energy matters at all. Apparently you can't get tired of that, so that's a bit of a pain. And I believe that after a fight, we get all of our energy back, so to speak. See, that always confuses me. So it's good that we like wear ourselves out before a fight, which doesn't make sense at all. but do some of this. Maybe get another thing to use before we have our fight. Probably the most skill that I've had before one, which is unfair. I feel like I've min-maxed now that I've played it at least twice. We have enough to purchase. Let's see, if we're going for kicks, I always like the low kick, but it doesn't exactly link to anything, and it definitely like goes away very useless, or it becomes useless pretty quick. So instead we get the high kick, which is like, it's a better kick, but it just does better consumption, or takes more. Luckily we have some stamina to like combat that. Got some strength. I mean, I don't know. I feel better if we topped it off, just so we'd have that too. I don't feel great paying $10 for what could just be absolutely no training, but it's better than nothing. I believe this one does like both stamina and agility. As long as we get our fight in before then, it doesn't matter. We're gonna run out of food, most definitely. But, you know, this is probably good. Scare fight. Oh yeah, we're so much better than you, Songmo. And instead of getting our kick in, let's get our high kick. All he's got is a punch and a block. So, let's see how well this goes. It's always good to have a like defensive option, because when they attack, then it'll activate, usually. No, I'm pretty sure it's like all the time. It just has the chance, is dependent on your stats. And we are just going to town. Call me, what, can't even remember his name now. That was like really well. That's the best fight I think I've ever had. It doesn't help that we've done a little pre-gaming and, you know, actual stuff. Believe you need actual agility to work up to these other things, which we can get to. For now, having an extra skill would be really nice. And skip attacks is also really good, because if you need stamina or energy, you can put that on and start to regain that. But we did pretty well. And I really want to sign up for the next fight. All things considered, sounds like a great like first part. I can't believe, I can't wait rather for this to all go terribly wrong. But I'm enjoying Punch Club, and if you are too, which granted this is the inaugural like part of the series, and I expect you to, you can formulate an opinion. You know, everybody does that 4-episode thing for TV shows, and I don't expect you to just instantly like this game. But if you do, maybe click that like button and subscribe, because I'll have videos every week. But for now, I'm MaelstromTier, and I will see you next time. Should probably try something like a little more punchy. I will punch you next time. That sounds like a threat. Maybe I should just stop this. See you later.